The Green Hornet.
Fed up with the everyday grind? Tired out from the summer heat? You want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are trapped in the dark streets of an old French town with two remaining avenues of escape. The workshop of a fearsome knife maker, or the arms of a beautiful but deadly woman.
Tonight, we escape to the south of France and to the manhunt of a master criminal, as Vincent Starrett told it in his unusual story, The Fugitive.
I had been 6 months in the prison of Tarentelle at the top of the hill above the little village of Saint-Just. As you know, of course, Saint-Just is in the very south of France, buried in those dark forests that lead up to the great crags of the Pyrenees. I was enjoying this enforced hospitality after having been convicted as a thief, and quite rightly so. Oh, it is the fancy of some men to become bankers, of others soldiers. It had always suited my own fancy to be a thief. But no matter. Day after day went by, with nothing to do but to look out over the forests, watch the sunsets and the lights in the Chateau de Montaut, and 6 months began to seem like a lifetime. So, in my customary logical fashion, I decided to escape.
Monsieur Duplessis.
You were addressing me, Monsieur Lemieux?
Mon Dieu, who else? Do you think I expect to find you entertaining visitors behind this iron door?
Who knows what a detective may think? I have never found enough mentality in one to be able to analyze it.
You still have spirit, Duplessis. What a pity for it to be wasted in a prison cell.
Well, I confess I would much rather be outside there with you than inside here with me.
And I can almost wish that you were. Perhaps then I would not be so bored.
Oh, my deepest sympathy, Lemieux. Have the wine cellars at the chateau gone dry? Does the seigneur no longer serve those luscious meals you have told me so much about?
I've grown weary of it, my friend. I am a hunter of men by nature, not a bon vivant. Sometimes I wish you might contrive some means of escaping. I should enjoy the sport of tracking you down again.
In that case, monsieur, the key.
Oh, I dare say it would be rather easy the second time. I know just how your mind turns all your little fancies.
Well, the key, monsieur.
Then, too, I'm a master of disguises. Should you pause by a stream, the fisherman who handed you a drink would suddenly turn out to be Lemieux.
You astonish me.
You would perhaps register at an inn. Then the clerk would smile at you, and you would see...
Permit me, Lemieux.
Well. Why dream of the impossible, Duplessis? You have another 4.5 years to serve in Tarentelle, and I am dining at the Chateau de Montaut in an hour. So...
Lemieux, why not imagine I am contriving some way to escape? That should give you an appetite.
Duplessis, your waiter has deserted you. You speak of absurdities now.
Perhaps you are right. Au revoir, monsieur. But he was cunning, this Lemieux. Sleek and pretty, like a weasel. But have you ever seen the teeth of a weasel slash the throat of a bird? I have. And I have seen Lemieux do somewhat similar things. Well, no matter. Half an hour after he had gone, when dusk was falling, I lifted 2 iron bars from the window of my cell, slid through and climbed down the wall. But it was not so simple as it sounds, you know. I had been working on it for nearly 2 months, secretly and quietly. And now I was free. I slunk furtively and fearfully through the underbrush, making my way rapidly toward the village of Saint-Just at the foot of the hill. Behind me, at any moment, the great gun would boom from the walls of Tarentelle, informing the world that one of the prisoners had made an escape. Ahead of me, faint flares of lightning warned of a storm to come, while my heart beat a pace with my footsteps. I thought to myself, how terrible indeed is this business of freedom. How much simpler it is to be in prison. Well, as you may have perceived already, I am something of a philosopher. Well, no matter. It was then that I suddenly saw a light gleaming ahead of me, and I began to hear a strange sound. I could make out the shape of a small, open hut a few paces ahead of me. The light was thrown out by the glowing coals in a forge, and the sound was made by an old man beating out a piece of metal on an anvil. He was small, wrinkled, and bald except for 2 white tufts of hair that grew in front of his ears. As I drew near quietly, I could see that he was making a knife, and that other knives hung on the walls of the hut, and I had no weapon, and I began to wonder if, by some means, I might steal one from him.
Come in, my son.
Huh?
It may start raining any moment.
Well, merci, monsieur. I'm a stranger hereabouts. I lost my way in the wood.
No need. I understand.
You are a maker of knives?
Oui, monsieur. You would like to have one, perhaps.
Well, old man, the fact of the matter is that being a law-abiding citizen, I really have little need of a knife. However, they are pretty, and the forest is very dark. But I am at the moment without funds, so...
There is no charge, my son. Here, look at this one.
Ah, it is a beautiful knife.
Try the edge. It is quite sharp.
Mon Dieu, you are right. This weapon would suit a king himself, or a prince of thieves.
You are a philosopher, my son.
Or a thief. But what? There are words engraved on the blade. On one side, reason, and on the other, irony. Reason and irony. You're something of a philosopher yourself, old maker of knives.
I use different words on different blades, but the quality is always the same.
It fits well in my hand.
Then take it. It is yours.
With such a blade, a man could fight his way through hell itself. I should like to see the look on the face of Monsieur... wait. You are not by any chance Lemieux.
Aha! The great gun in the wall of Tarantelle. Some prisoner has escaped. No, my son. I am not Lemieux. Why do you ask?
I thought for a moment, but no. No, of course not. Well, I must be off, old knife maker. I have a long way to go, and it is starting to rain. My deepest gratitude for your generosity.
Oh, we shall meet again, my son. Tell me then, after you have tried the blade.
Of course. Adieu, monsieur.
Au revoir, Duplessis.
I was not afraid anymore. The rain smashed and splattered in the trees, and the dark shadows became old friends. I ran through the night, laughing and sometimes singing, slashing with my knife at the leaves on the branches. Reason and irony, slash. I forgot the prison behind me, forgot everything except my goal, a tiny cottage standing at the very outskirts of Saint-Just. Marie Simard would be waiting there where I had left her. Soft, warm, beautiful Marie, of whom I had dreamed every night in that cursed cell. We would go into the village together, then to the inn of Paul Despard, and with the bag of jewels I had left with him, escape to the Spanish frontier, to freedom. Marie! Marie!
Who is it?
It is I, ma petite Duplessis.
Sacrement de bon Dieu.
Open the door, quickly, please.
But you... How have
Inside first. That is better. The shutters? All closed. Good. Come now, tell me how glad you are to see me.
you... Oh, I am glad, but surprised. How are you here? They have not released you?
Not intentionally, my dear. I reviewed my own case and decided, Duplessis, you are really a very fine fellow and by no means belong here. So I released myself.
You have escaped then?
Not completely, or at any rate not yet. What? Oh, what a lovely scent you are wearing, Marie de Monham. And that dress, a new one, is it not?
Oui, mon cœur. It was given to me by the old woman who lives in the next cottage down the way.
Well, I must leave a small diamond for her after we have seen Paul.
Paul Despard, you are going to see him?
But of course, ma jolie, we shall need money to live in Spain.
I see. Duplessis, mon coeur, you are very wet. You must be tired. Rest here in this chair while I run down to the old woman's and bring wine and little cake.
No, Marie, there is not time.
It will only take a moment. We can go to Paul's afterwards. Surely you know you're safe here with me.
Safe while Lemieux is out there someplace.
Lemieux?
The others, the soldiers and the guards, they are fools, but not Lemieux. He is cunning. I am beginning to fancy that I see him behind every face I meet.
But surely you do not think...
Oh, ma chérie, of one thing I am certain, that you are not Lemieux. Oh, come, I must touch you. It has been such a long time.
You're so wet. Perhaps I should go borrow a dry coat for you.
No. The rain has stopped. I shall be dry by the time we reach... The little ring I gave you. The one with the heart. You are not wearing it.
I put it away. I did not wish to wear it until you were with me again.
Which I am from this moment on, ma petite. So...
No, Duplessis, this is no time to waste. We must leave now and hurry. We'll go to Paul Despard's this moment, now.
But a few paces brought us into the streets of the village of Saint-Just. We moved quickly, and I kept the collar of my coat turned high on my face. Soon we were making our way among the handful of patrons who still lingered at the tables of the inn, talking in the light of candles held in empty bottles. I kept my hand on the knife beneath my coat, but no one glanced up as we crossed to the far side of the room.
There he is, at the little table in front of the office.
Oui, ma jolie, so he is, and not changed a bit.
Paul?
Marie, what a surprise. I had no idea that you might... Duplessis.
Bonne nuit, mon ami.
Duplessis, what in the name...
There is no time, Paul. Take him in the office.
But of course.
I have things which must be done. I shall be back very shortly, Paul.
Oui, I understand. Come, Duplessis.
Hurry, Marie.
I shall hurry, mon coeur, never fear.
There it is, locked. Well, mon ami, this is quite a surprise. I take it you are on an unofficial leave of absence.
Completely so, Paul. I have a pass which is good only so long as Lemieux does not catch up with me.
Lemieux? Oh, he is a clever one, all right.
Ah, indeed he is. Almost as clever as Duplessis. But no matter. You have kept the little bag of jewels safe for me?
Quite safe.
Très bien. They will serve me well in Spain. I hope to be across the frontier in an hour.
So soon, but we have so many things to talk about.
Oh, there's little chance for talk, Paul, when a man is running for his life. The jewels are here, close at hand?
Nearby.
Well, get them now, Paul.
Well, the fact of the matter is, they are at my house on the other side of town.
Oh, fish.
It will take only a moment, and I can send someone to...
Wait. Voices outside the door.
Well, I hear nothing at all. You are only imagining
Paul, you signaled someone before we came in here.
No, mon ami. No, you're mistaken.
I saw you nod to a man out there at one of the tables.
No, you must believe me. I did nothing.
Stay away from the door. I called you my friend.
The crowd will break down that door in a moment. You had better give up. You are a fool, Duplessis. And an hour from now, you will be back in Tarentelle, where you belong.
I doubt it, Despard. They have not yet found the back door, but either way, you will not know about it.
A knife. No, the Duplessis. No.
Away from that door.
No, you cannot. Murderous beast. I will stop you.
Mon Dieu. Gold pieces thrown at my head. Now, where is the sport in killing a man whose only weapon is a bag of money? I am a philosopher. Bonne nuit, monsieur le gold piece. I ran down the dark streets from the back of the inn, turned corners, dodged away from the shadows. Far off, like the sound of hunting dogs, I could hear the voice of the mob. I knew not where to find Marie, nor of any man now who might be trusted. I ran blindly. One direction was as good as another, and the things of reality became clouded with those of imagination, so I could no longer tell them apart. Such is the great fear of the hunted, which knows only to run from one unknown to another unknown, but always to run and run and run. I had come to an unfamiliar part of the town, into an open square with a building facing me. People moved past slowly, but they paid no attention, and I knew they were not part of the mob which followed. Then I saw all of them were going through the door into the great building. The cathedral. voila, what a place to hide for a moment. I joined them and was carried along in the crowd. I found myself near the front with people all around me. I kept my head down and crouched there, trying to stop trembling.
You are out of breath, my friend. You seem frightened.
Silence. Do you wish to disturb the service?
Oh, never fear. It will continue regardless. Duplessis?
One moment, monsieur, and I shall cut your throat.
Oh, come now, put away the knife. I am your friend. I have always admired you.
Who are you?
Merle. I keep a little shop in the village. Perfumes, spices, flavorings, all things calculated to make life more agreeable.
You are Lemieux in disguise.
Oh, ridiculous, monsieur. Lemieux is at the Chateau de Montaut. I passed him on his way there. He thinks the mob will do his work for him. Put away the knife. You have nothing to fear from me.
That may be, but I feel much better while I hold it in my hand.
Cautious, Duplessis? Hardly like the great adventurer I always admired.
Adventurer, eh?
Oh, the very prince of thieves, the king of poets, and teacher of philosophers.
Well, I am quite a fellow, all right.
Indeed you are. A man who should be standing up, not hiding his face, swaggering and laughing.
Merle, mon ami, you are really a fellow of discernment. Indeed you are.
Monsieur, is that a knife you're holding in your hand?
Oui, mon père.
Knives are not permitted in here.
But it is a very good knife. It has words written on the blade.
No matter. Knives are not permitted, monsieur.
Look! It is Duplessis, the thief.
They have seen you now, my friend. You must run, but never fear. We shall meet again, I think, very soon.
I escaped from them again and found myself finally on the outskirts of the far side of town. I knew not where to go next. I looked up and my eyes fell upon the lighted windows of the Chateau de Montaut, standing alone above the countryside at the very top of a point of rock. A sudden thought occurred to me, brazen and audacious. What better sanctuary than the very chateau where Lemieux himself waited for word of my capture? I smiled to myself in the darkness and then began to climb swiftly up the face of the rock. I stood at last on a tiny parapet close against the massive stone walls of the chateau, high above the countryside. Behind me were lighted windows and the sound of voices, but out there on the parapet, there was only the night and the stillness, stars, and a ghostly moon riding like a silver galleon in the black billows of the sky. Its pale light fell on the tumbled forest below me, on the tiny little village of Saint-Just, and touched faintly in the distance the far-off crags of the Pyrenees beyond the Spanish frontier. I do not know how long I stood there, looking down upon the world. Perhaps I was a little mad by then, of that I'm not quite sure. Suddenly I saw someone coming toward me on the parapet. They had not yet seen me. Bonne nuit, mademoiselle.
What? Who is it?
It is I, Marie Duplessis.
What are you doing here?
A very good question. As a matter of fact, I think I shall use it myself. What are you doing here?
I came here to find Lemieux after I lost you, of course.
And you found him, I trust?
Oh, oui, Monsieur is inside in the banquet hall with the others. I thought that if he should find you, then I would be there to help.
How thoughtful of you, ma jolie. But to help whom?
But you, of course. Oh, how can you doubt me?
Oh, very easily. This night, in fact, I believe I could doubt the universe itself.
Oh, no, chérie. You only say such things when you are fancying yourself a philosopher.
Or a fool, which is much the same thing. But here, look at you. Another new dress. The old woman is very good to you, Marie.
I am quite grateful to her.
And did she also give you the ring, my dear?
The ring?
Oui, the ring you are wearing. The ring which I saw so many times on a hand that would grasp the bars of my cell, the hand of Lemieux.
Oh, no, Duplessis, I swear to you it is nothing. I found it.
Found it? Perhaps in the same place where you lost mine.
No, put away the knife. It is all a mistake.
It was you who brought them up to the inn, and Paul knew you had gone to do it.
No, it was someone else. Please, do not kill me. Let me go.
Go where? Back inside to warn Lemieux that I am here?
No, I shall go down the path here, see? Oh, you cannot kill me. You loved me once, do you not remember? Please, let me go.
Go then. Go quickly before I change my mind.
I am going. I will not harm you.
To detest a woman thoroughly, it is necessary first to have loved her. Well, I really am quite a fellow after all, a true philosopher.
Indeed you are, mon ami.
Huh?
It is one of the things for which I have always admired you.
Oh, it is you, Monsieur Merle, the seller of perfumes.
Oh, must you always carry that vicious knife in your hand?
It is a good knife. An old man gave it to me, and there are words on the blade. See, on one side, reason. On the other, irony.
Well, we shall have little need for either once we are across the frontier in Spain.
Tell me, monsieur, why do you wish to help me?
Because I like you. Because you are Duplessis, whom I admire as something great as that moon that shines over us, as great
Wait.
as... What is it?
Something glinted on your hand when you held it up there. Let me see it.
Oh, it was nothing. It was only a trick of the moonlight.
Let me see your hand.
But I tell you that...
Stop! You two. The little ring with a heart that I gave to her a long time ago.
Oh, it is nothing, my friend. I found the ring.
As she found Lemieux's. They have gone too long without knowing for certain if this is really a good knife.
Oh, you cannot mean that. Oh, no, I am your friend, Duplessis. I am going to take you to...
Take me where, monsieur? Now we shall see whether you can fly without wings. There. Down and down and down. By heaven, it is like a scene from a play. This parapet is stage, the moon for a spotlight, and a body pirouetting through space.
True enough, my son. But you should not have killed him.
Huh?
The weapon was made for stronger opponents.
Well, old maker of knives, you said we should probably meet again.
He is gone out of sight, and there are only the stars and the night and the moon. What now, Duplessis?
I do not know. Spain, perhaps?
Lemieux would follow, and there would be another Marie, another Paul, and another Merle, waiting in Spain to tell him where you were.
Have I escaped from prison to find this? Is everything false? Is there no man left in the world who is true?
I am only a knife maker.
Well, it is a good knife. It worked very well.
You have not yet tried it against Lemieux?
No, you are right. He's inside there in the banquet hall.
It will not be an easy thing, my son, but I know not how to warn you. You must find it out for yourself.
Warning? When has Duplessis ever had need of warning? Merci, Monsieur le Knife Maker, for your excellent intentions. And I shall find out for myself. Now. The stone corridors of the chateau were empty, though as I drew nearer I could hear the sound of voices in the great banquet hall. I made my way quietly to a low balcony overlooking the room, and soon was peering through the drawn curtains that screened off the table below. Lemieux was there, and Paul, and the seigneur of the chateau. Marie had come back somehow, and there were others too. Lemieux was talking.
And the people from the town are beating the bushes of the forest. Duplessis will be captured sooner or later, that I can assure you. I know the fellow. Know how his mind works. That's why I do not even bother to chase him. He will trap himself.
Most certainly you are right, Monsieur Lemieux, and the sooner the better. More wine, ma chérie?
Merci, cher Paul.
I dare say you will rest a bit easier, Monsieur le Seigneur, once the fellow is taken.
Why do you say that?
Look at those paintings on the walls, ma petite. And there on the balcony behind the curtain is a Rembrandt worth at least 1,000,000 francs. Quite a temptation for the very Prince of Thieves if he did not have something more important on his mind. You know,
I thought for one moment they were going to draw back the curtains to reveal me standing there above them. But then they talked of other things and the danger passed. I looked down upon them, crouched like weasels around the table, tearing at their food with sharp little teeth. Half mad from the fear of being hunted, I began to fancy that they were all animals, and their wine was the blood of birds. While I stood there watching, Merle came in quietly and sat down with him. Merle, whom I had killed and thrown from the parapet. I realized then what the old maker of knives had tried to tell me. I had not killed Merle, but only thought I had done so. For how can a man kill his own vanity? And Paul would always be here, of course, ready to buy and sell with his bags of gold. And Marie, too, luring me with a voice filled with a warm softness of pleasure. And Lemieux, incarnation of fate, the hunter of men, what of Lemieux? As I stared through the curtains, I knew suddenly that I could never kill Lemieux, that he would take me sooner or later. For in my half-crazed mind, every face now looked the same, and every one was the face of Lemieux. I turned to look at the tall painting, the Rembrandt that hung on the wall behind me. It was the portrait of a cavalier, proud and haughty, frozen in a pose of nobility, with one hand resting on his sword. Should I, an even better man, a prince of thieves and of philosophers, permit myself to be run to earth at last by a pack of dogs? Would it not be far better to give myself up at my own choice, show them at the same time their littleness, and rob them of their victory? Voila, I had decided. With the point of my knife, I cut the painting from its frame and threw it to one side. I looked at my blade, so useless now. On one side, reason. On the other, irony. And then drove it into the wood at the top of the frame. It quivered there a moment, and then was still. Carefully, I lighted the 2 tall candles on either side, then stepped up and stood in the frame with my back against the wall. I smiled a moment to myself, and then reached out my hand and took hold of the cord to draw aside the curtains.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Tonight we have brought you The Fugitive by Vincent Starrett, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, with editorial supervision by John Dunkel. Featured in tonight's cast was Louis Van Rooten, with Ben Wright, Gloria Blondell, Barry Kroger, Wilms Herbert, and John Daner. Special music by Ivan Ditmars. Next week.
You were trapped aboard an ill-fated ocean liner, captained by a dying man, while a mysterious passenger, haunting you, menacing you, seems intent on sending you to destruction.
Next week, we escape with James Gould Cousins' gripping story, SS San Pedro. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. Ladies and gentlemen, this coming Tuesday evening at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, CBS will bring you an hour-long variety show, Crusade for Children, with General Dwight D. Eisenhower as principal speaker. It's a problem concerning every American, the hungry children of Europe. Remember, 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, Tuesday, August 17th. Roy Rowan speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
In just a moment, X-1. But first, some of the funniest situations you've ever witnessed occur every Wednesday night when the devilish imagination of MC Jack Bailey sets to work on NBC's Truth or Consequences. You won't believe it until you hear it. So Listen in tomorrow. Then another laugh session is in store later on with the wise and witty Groucho Marx as he and contestants play You Bet Your Life. While for the melodic note in your Wednesday evening schedule, it's music and fun on Airtime with Giselle Mackenzie. And now, stay tuned for X-1 on NBC. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus one.
Tonight, Hallucination Orbit by J.T. McIntosh.
Mr. Chaka.
Sir?
Stand by to release a pickup rocket.
Yes, sir.
We'll break orbit in 8 hours, have damage control pull the rods on the number 3 pile. Check leakage.
Yes, sir.
Try and have the locks cleared of all unessential personnel when that pickup rocket comes back. There's no point in making trouble.
I understand, sir. Pickup rocket away, sir.
Very well. Take over, Mr. Chaka. I will be in my quarters if I'm wanted. Well, now then, Mr. Danbury, make yourself comfortable.
Why, thank you, Captain.
You care for a drink? Scotch in that bulb, bourbon in the other.
No, thank you. I can't get quite used to squirting liquor from a rubber bulb as if I were oiling a bearing.
Well, you'd have a devil of a time pouring from a bottle in free fall. Well, how are you enjoying your trip?
It's very interesting. It was very nice of you to give me a lift. You know, it would have been 8 months before another ship came along.
Oh, a lot more than that with the main Pluto beam station out. Probably 8 years.
Really? That long? I thought the whole run to Pluto was under 18 months.
Yes, it is when the beam is running. You see, Mr. Danbury, we left Earth 27 days after the beam broadcast from Pluto station broke. We've been spaceborne close to 6 years.
I suppose that's why you're on orbit around this planet, picking up supplies or something, eh?
Oh. This is a standard pickup for the space beam service. We sent a rocket down to take off a man who's been the only inhabitant of this planet for a little over 2 years.
Well, I expect he'll be glad to see you.
Well, there's no telling.
I know I would.
After 2 years of duty, Mr. Danbury, you might not know anything.
Oh, psychiatric troubles?
Solitosis. It's from the Latin, solus, alone.
Is that much of a problem?
Only in space. Here, look. Look through that port.
Seems empty.
It is. It's empty of horizon, sky, sunlight, ground. It's empty of time. It's empty of people. You can't live in it too long without something happening.
I see. But surely people have been alone before spaceflight.
Oh, yes, but they have been on the same world with other people. And that seems to make a difference. You take a hermit on Earth, he may spend his life trying to escape civilization. Put him on a deserted world, he turns psychotic.
Is there a cure?
Oh, sure. Put him back with people. At least about 40 people. That seems to be the critical number. See, I have 48 in this ship's complement. I could run her with about 18. But if I tried to, I'd have psychos on my hands 6 months after blastoff.
But then every one of these men on the beam stations, they're all alone, aren't they?
That's right.
Well, then they must get it.
They do. It wouldn't pay to leave more than 40 men on a space station.
and less than 40 is too dangerous. Halitosis can be homicidal. So they leave one man. Now, he gets it all right. But you can snap him out of it just by taking him back to Earth. That's why I like to have as few people as possible around when the pickup ship comes back. It can be pretty unpleasant.
And what are they like? How does it affect them?
Well, so far, I've picked up about 28 space station officers. I've seen 28 different sets of symptoms. I wouldn't want the job of getting those guys out of their stations and into that pickup rocket. Captain here.
Pickup rocket. Signaling, sir.
All right, Mr. Chalker, prepare to receive the pickup. Alert the psychiatric staff, and I'll be right there. Would you care to see them bring them in, Mr. Danbury? You're welcome if you have a strong stomach.
I don't think so, thank you.
All right. Mr. Chalker, as soon as the rocket is secured, make a trajectory for the next station.
Yes, sir. That's Pluto Station 3.
Carry on. Pluto Station 3. That will be a honey of a job. He has been on that lump of rock all by himself for close to...
Pluto Station 3, Daily Report. Colin. Everything is in fine shape. Through my port, I can see Mars, Earth, Saturn, Mercury. That little devil, he's hiding behind the sun. He's been quite furtive lately. Why I'm required to record this report every day escapes me, because it's quite obvious to any empty-headed brass hat at the central office that not a word of this has been worth the tape it's been recorded on for the last 5.5 years. But if it amuses you gentlemen to hear me wander, after all, you are paying for the tape. Which gives me a fine thought. I'm going to set the pickups through the whole station and leave the tape running. That'll give you a daily report all day, so keep on listening. Right now, I have the distinct impression that Earth is winking at me. A rather suggestive, lewd wink.
It helps to see the planets, doesn't it?
Oh, I thought you were reading.
I was. You know, if you hadn't been able to see the planets, you would have been a straitjacket case long ago.
Well, who knows I'm not one now? You don't, anyway.
Well, I think that so long as you talk sanely about madness, you can't be so far gone. It's out there somewhere, isn't it? The rescue ship.
Somewhere.
How long now, Colin? Where could they be now if they started whenever the beam failed?
I haven't worked it out since the last time you asked, but they could be very close.
Well, if the beam hadn't failed, they would have been here long ago, wouldn't they?
Oh, sure. 11 months with the beam, over 6 years without it. Well, anyway, that triple time 6 years' pay adds up to quite a pile.
You'll be set up for life when you get back to Earth, won't you? And at 29.
I'll be rotten with money.
Oh, well. It's been nice knowing you.
That's because of the others before you. I've learned a lot.
Never talk of the others. And above all, never talk of any others to come.
I'm sorry.
Would you like to play chess? It's a long time since we did.
I don't think so, not anymore. I'm a little tired of chess.
Oh, I know. I understand. I won't bother you. I'll go to my room, Colin.
Well, don't get upset.
I'm not. I understand. You're just tired of chess.
You still listening, gentlemen? That last few minutes might have been a little confusing. You'd like to know who I was talking to, wouldn't you? I'm afraid you can't hear her on the tape. That's Una. And I'll tell you what she looks like. You might find it interesting. She's beautiful, but rather cool. She always wears a white shirt and sharp, creased green slacks. She's got a good figure, but in a calm sort of way. She plays a good game of chess, although I beat her 2 out of 3 times. Of course, you know why you can't hear her on the tape. But I still know, too. That's a point in my favor, isn't it? That brings up an interesting question, gentlemen, because I'm tired of Una. I'm beginning to find her a long, cool, slightly unappealing bore. My problem is how to get rid of her. I can't just tell her to vanish. She's a little too real for that. I dreamed up a ship to bring her. I'll have to find another to take her away. Well, I might as well get to it. Oh, no. No, I'm not going to bother about the ship. It's too much mental effort. I'd have to think up everything I saw, and frankly, gentlemen, I'm too tired. Maybe she'll take the hint. A lot of them did. Susie did. And Alice. Oh. I remember Margie. There was a girl. A load of bricks had to fall on her head. Took me 4 weeks to get rid of her. No. Let Una figure her own way to get off the station. Well, she's gone. I thought she might. Her ship's gone, too. Well, all in all, I don't think Una was really very satisfactory. One of these days, I'll start believing in them, and I'll be really gone. Well, if I activate the main screens now, I'll see a ship coming in to land pretty soon. Every once in a while, I have a thought that when the ship really comes, I'll think it's make-believe. Yes, there it is. A small ship curving in for a landing. I suppose I could check on the detectors. I know they register anybody within 100,000 miles, but I don't bother checking them anymore because someday the moment will come when I check the detectors. And I'll see just what I want to see. Well, the ship's coming in for a landing now. I'll go out to meet it. I'm rather interested to find out what the explanation will be for the girl. Naturally, it will be a girl. It's all right. You can take your helmet off. The air's all right in here.
You must be Baker.
Oh, good heavens, no. Baker was before me here. You can't be one of his dreams 7 years late. I'm Ord, Colin Ord.
Before we go any further, just how does solitosis affect you?
Well, that's new. None of them ever asked that before. It makes me see things that aren't there.
And you know there's nothing there?
Sometimes.
Do you know I'm here?
I'm making a point of not wondering about it.
Well, one thing you can be sure of. This. Do you see this? This is a gun. I just want you to know I'm not heaven's little gift to lonely space station officers. Is that clear?
Oh, yes. Yes. What's your name?
Elsa Cutterline. You want to know why I'm here, of course.
Not particularly.
What?
Well, that's always the weakest part of the story. I don't like to press it. Why don't you, take off your spacesuit?
I'll tell you why, just the same. I killed a man. Why and how doesn't matter. I had access to an experimental ship. I thought if I disappeared for about 2 years,
Oh, please don't labor over it. I'm not asking questions.
Why not?
Well, when we get around to it, I would be interested in the story you can concoct for being dressed like the cover of a magazine story in rather minimal clothing. It's been years since I thought up anything like that. You must be a throwback.
What are you talking about?
You know, you're going to have a tough time with that gun when you get tired of holding it. It's a heavy gun. How long do you think it'll be before I take it from you? After all, you have to sleep. There's no door in the station you can lock that I can't get in.
I know. I just wanted to make sure you weren't violent. I think I can get on with you, Ord.
Yes, I see. The question is, my dear, whether you're real or not.
Well, don't I look real?
Oh, yes, but that doesn't prove anything. As a matter of fact, the realer you look, the worse off I might be. But then there still is the remote possibility that you might actually have killed someone and decided to hide out on a space station. Shall I tell you something else, Elsa?
What?
I'm suddenly tired of the whole business. Breathes there a man with soul so dead, I'm sure you know the rest of it. I would suddenly like to have enough people around me so that I could be sane. I would like to find women as part of life instead of having them pop up here from the depths of my rather pornographic subconscious. But you've shaken me, Elsa. 24 hours ago, I was congratulating myself that Salatosis hadn't really gotten me. But now I don't know.
Just don't try anything funny, or you'll find out whether I'm real. The hard way.
Any way is the hard way. First, I'll go out and have a look at your ship. £14 per square inch air. Heat. Now, I take a gasoline lighter. There, the flame lights. But on the other hand, if there was no lighter and I see it, I could also see it burn when there isn't any air. As a matter of fact, how do I know that I can read a meter for air pressure? And now that I look again quickly, I find I haven't got a lighter in my hand, and as a matter of fact, the pressure meter reads 0. There's no air on this ship. As a matter of fact, there isn't any ship. Elsa is no more real than Una. All right, Colin, old boy, sit here and concentrate for about 15 minutes, and you'll be able to walk through the walls of the ship.
Well, what did you find out there?
You'd better leave. It was a mistake your coming here. I'm sorry.
No, don't come any closer to me.
Put down the gun.
Keep back. I'm warning you. Keep back.
You see, it's no use. Oh, you're a good shot. You got me right between the eyes, but I couldn't feel a thing. I can't let myself be shot now, can I? Give that to me. There. Now remember, if you shoot me, nothing happens. But if I shoot you, you die. Do you know that?
Yes, I know that.
I'll give you about 20 minutes to get that overstuffed figure back into that spacesuit and get off my planet. Frankly, I'm getting tired of hallucinations. Tired.
Give me back my gun.
No. I'll keep that. After a while, I'll put it in a drawer. It'll stay there until I forget it. Then there won't be any gun anymore. From now on, my overblown figment, there will be no more Elsas or Susies or Margies. I am not going to give in to Salatosis. Maybe I'll bring Una back. At least she could play chess. Pluto Station 3, Daily Report, Colin Ord, Space Officer. Gentlemen, I have successfully fought off Salatosis for 2 days, and I have been alone. However, I'm afraid I'll lose as I watch my main scope now. I see a ship coming in again. I wonder what this one will be like. It's a launch from a larger spaceship. Maybe a lifeboat. Dorothy came in a lifeboat. I wonder what this one will be like. I've got to find out when she comes whether she's real. That's the key, as long as I know if she's real. When I don't care anymore, that's when it's really got me. The ship's down now. There she comes out of the airlock. I've got to find out whether she's real.
Colin Ord.
That's right.
I'm Dr. Lynn of 4-Star Lines. Marilyn Lynn.
Oh, well, very pretty. Are you going to tell me your story now, or do I have to wait?
I'm not going to tell you anything till I've found out a little more about you.
Well, you're an improvement on the last one. At least you're young and beautiful, and you're not fantastic, and you look intelligent.
What do you mean?
Don't worry about me. I see things that aren't there. Particularly people.
Oh, so you don't believe I'm here?
Would you? if you were me.
Do you know I'm not here?
No, that comes with time. At least it always has so far.
You mean you've always proved to yourself that your visitors were mere fantasy?
With a struggle.
Interesting. Controlled solitosis. I never heard of it before. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Ord.
No, that doesn't make you real. They all say that.
Why should I want to make you accept me as real?
I don't know. But they all do.
When will you know?
Oh, I can't say. Maybe in 5 minutes. Maybe not for hours.
How do you do it? You don't shoot me to see if I die or anything like that, do you?
No, nothing like that. If I shoot you, you do die, like the witches in history. They'd die if they were, and they'd die if they weren't.
Your mind has remained agile enough.
Naturally. I never heard of solitosis inhibiting intelligence. Would you like some coffee?
Is that part of the test? Whether more coffee is actually drunk than you drink yourself?
No, that doesn't help. It would be very easy for me to make half what I thought I made, to fill a cup with nothing and pass it back. You look afraid.
Why should I be?
What am I doing? Am I doing something I don't know I'm doing?
No. Would you like me to wash the cups for you when we're done?
That won't prove anything. Next time they were used, I could just imagine they were washed, couldn't I?
Where are you going?
To find out if you're real.
My ship. Go ahead. Good luck.
What's she afraid about? Something I said. None of the others were really afraid of me. I can't tell yet. Nothing's happened. The meters all read 15 pounds to the square inch air pressure, but that's no good. I can't tell if I'm reading them at all. Oh. Well, the wall's solid enough. My hand hurts. That doesn't prove anything. Supposing I open my faceplate. If there's no ship and no air... All right, my faceplate's open. I'm breathing air. But then again, on the other hand, my faceplate may still be closed. Maybe I only think it's open. I can't tell. I can't tell that she isn't real. That means it's finally gotten me. It gets everyone. I don't really know if anything's real, if I'm real, if this space station is real, the planet, the universe, the galaxy. Maybe all life is in my mind. I think. Therefore I am. Yes, I remember that from school. Oh, I'm tired. I've got to get back to the station. Very tired. Close my faceplate, if I ever opened it. Get back to the station. Got a headache. Terrible headache. I'm very tired.
Are you all right now? Here, drink this.
What happened?
You came in the station lock and passed out.
How long have I been out?
About 24 hours. You're a very sick man, Mr. Ord.
Reality. Very important thing, isn't it? It's the most important thing there is to learn.
Merely to you. Solitosis naturally affects what matters most to the individual, but we needn't talk about that.
But I know now. You're not real. You can't be, even though I feel you are.
How did you decide that?
I couldn't prove you weren't, not on your ship. I'm too far gone to figure out any test that'll work. But if you are real, then how did you avoid solitosis?
The only way there is. There are 48 men and women in the relief ship that's in orbit around your planet right now. I came down in the pickup rocket. We have well above the critical number of people. I keep rational by knowing they're up there in the orbit, and as soon as I'm ready, I'll take you back up there.
Well, I suppose I can wait. I don't really care if you're real or not anymore.
I know. It'll take a long while before you care.
You sound sad. What's the matter?
It's the way you look at me.
What do you mean?
What do you see when you look at me?
Well, you're strong. Sort of quietly beautiful. About my age. You're wearing a tunic and slacks. And you don't have a wedding ring. I noticed that.
That's what I thought you saw. I'm real, but not your picture of me. I'm a doctor, Mr. Ord. All first contacts with station officers are made by trained psychiatrists. I'm a doctor. And I was a girl once. But that was 40 years ago. I'm 66.
You can't be.
Oh, yes. It was very nice to be a girl again. I could see myself in your eyes, and I almost felt young again. As I grow old in the next few weeks, Mr. Ord, you'll be recovering. That will show you how your case is progressing. When you see me as I really am, you will be all right.
Assuming you're real, Marilyn, it really must take something to come down alone to see one of us. I think I see you now, as you really are.
Captain? Yes, Mr. Chaka. Pickup rocket all secured from Pluto number 3. How is the poor fellow? Good as can be expected. He came on board with Dr. Lynn. I'm telling you, these guys throw me. There he was, holding her hand, looking in her eyes like he was in love with her. And you know what a dried-up old bat she is? Yes, I know. All right, Mr. Chaka. Prepare to blast off.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features the Willie Ley column, Mutant of the Iron Horse, describing monorail railroads of the past and future. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Hallucination Orbit, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by J.T. McIntosh and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were William Redfield, John Larkin, Vera Allen, John Moore, Terry Keane, Dick Hamilton, and Hope Rissman. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
National Radio Week. Recollections at 30 salutes Radio Tonight on...
In just a moment, X-1. But first, one man whose personality belies his name is Quizmaster Groucho Marx. Because Mr. Marx is hardly one of the grouchy kind when it comes to welcoming guests and dispensing good humor on his Wednesday night quiz show, You Bet Your Life. Why don't you tune in and hear for yourself tomorrow? And while you're listening, don't forget that each Wednesday night there's more great entertainment when Jack Bailey and contestants play Truth or Consequences. And all of the staff on Airtime join stars Giselle McKenzie in bringing you top musical listening. Enjoy music and fun tomorrow night on this station. And now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire.
From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future.
Adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000, could be years, on 1,000, maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, the dramatization of a story by Jerry Soule, The Seventh Order. Brentwood, Illinois, would have been just about like any other average community of 10,000 had it not been for Presser College, one of the country's finest small institutions of learning. Its residents were used to the pranks, the hazings, and the practical jokes of the students. But even Professor Ansel Tomlin was surprised when the blue humanoid came down the street and up to the porch where the professor was sitting in an old wicker rocking chair.
Pardon me.
Of course.
You are Professor Ansel Tomlin.
Yes, and you, I take it, are somebody from one of my psychology classes dressed up as a sort of a robot.
No. I am George of Xanthar.
Who?
I am here to learn all I possibly can learn of the planet Earth and its inhabitants. Less than 10 minutes ago, I landed not far from here in a spaceship, which I subsequently blew up and destroyed.
Now, let me explain. I am Tomlin of Brentwood. Less than 10 minutes ago, I was sitting on my porch peacefully marking exam papers. I intend to resume right now. Helen, would you get the phone?
It is your wife's sister calling with reference to the explosion of my spaceship.
Sure it is.
She merely wants to ascertain that your family was not affected.
Listen, George, be a good fellow and...
Oh, Mike.
Well, don't be alarmed, dear. It's a fraternity initiation or something.
Oh, well, it does look like the real thing. Oh, did you know there was an explosion outside of town?
An explosion?
Yes, blast of undetermined origin is what they said on the radio.
Oh?
My sister just called. She heard about it in the local station and wanted to make sure we were all right.
I see.
Well, I have something in the oven. My goodness, that's a wonderful costume.
Her sister lives 20 miles away. How did you know she'd call?
My mind circuits are telepathic. They pick up all conscious thought to a distance of some 200 miles.
It couldn't be you arranged the whole thing, that it wasn't really her sister. How did you get here? Who or what are you?
I am a machine, the finest, most complicated machine ever made. I have a rather unique history, too.
Who made you?
Ages ago, on Xanthar, there was a race of humans. They made the first robots. Rather crude affairs. We class them as first-order robots. They are still used for menial tasks to some extent.
And what order are you?
The highest, naturally. A seventh-order robot. Or rather, a humanoid. We are the first in which there is not an automatic, no harm to humans cutoff.
I begin to see.
You will become aware of the fact that I am superior to you and to the rest of your race. I need no oxygen. I am never ill. I need no sleep. Every experience is indelibly recorded on circuits and is instantly available.
Tell me, George, do you have feelings?
I have an electronically controlled endocrine balance.
It's very interesting. And what is your mission here on Earth?
For the moment, I am here to study. I will live with you until it is complete.
You will what?
I will live with you. I will be with you all of your waking hours. While you sleep, I will go through your library. I need nothing. I want nothing.
Just a moment. What about my privacy?
When you desire privacy, I will study someone else. Your wife, perhaps. The female should be interesting.
George, old man, I'm terribly sorry, but you'll have to wire back to your masters to make other arrangements.
That will be quite impossible.
Really?
You see, I have no master.
Well, what about those humans back in Xanthar, the ones who invented you seventh-order humanoid?
Oh, they are all quite dead. We destroyed them.
Destroyed?
You look alarmed. It was, after all, they or us. You see, our endocrine system permits us pride in ourselves. Naturally, being proud of ourselves, we objected to being ordered about in an incompetent way. So,
you killed them?
Exactly. Now, shall we go inside and inform your wife of my visit?
Suppose I refuse.
Professor, do you see that small dog playing on the lawn across the street?
Yes.
I will lift my arm and point at it. Observe.
It vaporized.
Exactly. Now then, shall we go in?
Yes. We'll go in.
Oh, there you are. I see you brought your friend.
Helen, this is George. George of Xanthar. George is a machine.
Well, anybody can see that. It's the most convincing costume I ever saw.
Helen, it isn't a costume.
No?
No, he's really a machine.
Oh.
He's staying with us,
What?
whether we like it or not.
Well, really, Ansel.
We have no choice.
I am a seventh order humanoid. I detect that your mind does not comprehend. I am here as an advanced scout for my race. After we establish a station here on Earth.
I don't like this. Now, would you be kind enough to leave my house, young man?
You are very slow to comprehend.
I comprehend that I have a lot to do, and I'd appreciate it if you leave. Otherwise, I'm going to call the police.
You may call anyone you choose, Mrs. Thomas.
I'll have you arrested.
I assure you I can detect your intention long before you have time to do me any harm.
Well, we'll just see about this. Hello? Get me the police.
Helen, it's useless.
I can follow the call through the phone wire. Captain Townsend will answer.
Captain Townsend.
Captain, I want to report a robot.
A what?
A thing. It won't leave my house.
Who is this?
I'm Mrs. Tomlin, Professor Ansel Tomlin's wife, 44 Crescent Road.
I'll send a car over.
Now we'll see.
Is this the character that's been giving you trouble?
Yes, this is the one, officer.
Talked to you before about ruining the flower bed, Sonny. This time I'm taking you in.
I would advise you not to touch me. I cannot risk any damage.
I'll see about that. Come on outside.
I prefer to remain here until I complete my mission.
You do, huh? You know what this is?
It is a weapon you call a service revolver.
That's right. And you'll either march out of here or I'll use it on you.
That would be most unfortunate.
All right, come on.
Officer, let me warn you. He's
March.
dangerous.
March now. I'll count to 3.
Officer, please.
1, 2.
Oh, no.
I regret it, but he was actually going to pull the trigger. Only to frighten me. But I cannot risk damage. He might have miscalculated and struck me with a bullet.
Ansel, I'm frightened.
There is no need for fear. You have only to accept the fact that the Seventh Order is coming to operate the planet for your benefit.
Ansel.
Helen, there's no use trying to do anything just yet. Now go next door to Mrs. Coleman. Tell her what's happened. I'll talk to George.
Oh, but I don't...
Please, Helen?
Well, all right.
Do you really think that you, a single robot, can conquer the Earth and make its people do your bidding?
I can.
Suppose it were demonstrated to you that you could not, that you could be destroyed.
If that were so, I would naturally report that this planet is unfit for development by the Seventh Order.
Well, you know they'll have you taken into custody for killing the officer.
I cannot permit it.
There will be needless slaughter.
Unless you can convince your people it is useless to attack me.
Will you let me try?
I have no desire to prevent you. Go ahead. I detect that you are going to call the newspapers and the local television station and hold a press conference.
Yes.
I also detect that you have a plan to overcome me.
Oh?
I like that.
Really?
Yes. You see, in order to test this planet for development, I must know whether any of you are truly dangerous to us. You are a superior type of man, Professor. I welcome any plan to conquer me that you care to attempt.
Okay, George. At least we know where we stand. I'll phone the newspapers.
Quiet! Quiet, please! Quiet! Hold it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Henry Bennett, broadcasting from a sound truck parked in front of the home of Professor Ansel Tomlin in Brentwood, Illinois. At the moment, Professor Tomlin is seated on his front porch. Next to him is a strange-looking blue robot-type creature, also seated on a chair. At the moment, we don't know if this is a hoax or not, but Professor Tomlin, a highly respected man here at the university, has called a press conference to introduce what is supposedly a creature from another planet. Professor Tomlin is about to speak, and we'll try to catch his words.
Quietly. Gentlemen, I wish to present to you George of Xanthar. Yes, now, just a moment. George is a machine. Probably the most dangerous machine ever invented. He is telepathic as well. He can read your thoughts like a book. He knows exactly what each of you is thinking at this very instant.
Professor!
Yes?
Do you expect us to swallow this nonsense?
Not without proof, gentlemen.
Can George do his stuff for us? Let him tell me what I'm thinking right now.
You are thinking about a blonde young woman named Laura, with whom you will attend a show tonight.
Come on.
Well,
he happens to be right, but we've seen mind readers before. Let him do something else.
Now, I did not call you gentlemen here for a demonstration of magic. I called you here in the hopes that a good deal of needless bloodshed might be avoided. Less than half an hour ago, I watched this creature completely vaporize a policeman who was trying to arrest him. I expect that the authorities will be here any minute. I hope I can convince you and them that it is futile.
Well, I certainly do. Something ought to be done about a guy. Yeah, either you're nuts or you think we are. I don't believe this machine killed a cop. If a cop was killed, a human did it, trying to blame it on the machine.
Now, gentlemen, I don't know how I can prove it. Perhaps if George will demonstrate his ability to vaporize...
Observe the oak tree in the front yard. Now.
Now, do you see?
I see, but I don't believe it. Boys, this is some kind of mass hypnotism. Maybe the tree was rigged up in advance.
I swear to you
This George of Xanthar is all he's cracked up to be. Let's see what he does when I toss a rock at
Now,
him.
don't be a fool.
Here goes, George!
Stop him! I warned you. I tried to warn you.
Okay, everybody stand back. Stand back. Charlie, get that automatic rifle set up. Check, Chief. Professor, I advise you to step away from that kid weapon.
Captain, for your own sake, don't try anything.
Step away, Professor.
Very well, but I warn you.
Okay, now don't fire till I'm ready, boys.
Right.
Now then, George of What's-This? We don't know who's inside that tin suit, but I'm giving you just 10 seconds to come out of it.
Captain,
Hey, you're wanted on suspicion of murder. Now come out. All right, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid we'll have to terminate our broadcast. What started out as a good-natured hoax or publicity stunt has turned into a bloody massacre, as the bodies of some 6 policemen on the lawn of Professor Tomlin's home will attest. I don't know exactly what is happening here, but I can say this: George of Xanthar is no hoax. He or it is the spearhead of a race from outer space that's come to conquer the Earth.
Have they all gone, Helen?
Yes,
Where is he?
in your library, reading.
Are the policemen still outside the house?
They're walking up and down. Oh, I hope they don't.
Yeah, they have orders not to try to harm him.
Ansel,
Yes.
what are we going to do?
I don't know.
Oh, listen. He's coming.
Professor, Mrs. Tomlin, I have decided to walk through your town to learn more about its buildings and people.
And kill a few more humans?
Killing humans affords me no pleasure whatsoever. I kill only when damage to myself is possible. I hope that no one will attempt to harm me.
George, let me warn you now that this affair has gone beyond the confines of this town.
I am well aware of that, Professor. I am aware of a phone call being made this instant by your mayor to the commander of the Illinois State Guard.
If you're smart, you'll return to your ship and your planet.
My ship is destroyed. I could instruct you to build a new one, of course. But as I have no intention of leaving...
Then you will be destroyed.
No. I will destroy first.
Have you no conscience?
A conscience is a fifth-order failing. Needless baggage. Good evening.
Hello, Professor Tomlin. Yes. Yes, I will.
Who was it?
The mayor and the chief of police have called a meeting of the citizens of Brentwood at the college gymnasium tonight.
Ansel, you're not going.
I must.
But no,
Helen, there's much more at stake here than my life or yours. Civilization itself depends upon our standing up to this machine. I'm going to the meeting.
Gentlemen, as mayor of Brentwood, I call this meeting to order. As you know, there is loose in our city a being with one purpose: to prepare Earth for conquest by similar beings. I think Professor Tomlin can tell us most about this being.
Well, if we could determine the source of George's power, he might be overcome. He is obviously vulnerable to force, such as a speeding bullet if it hit the right spot. However, he has the ability to read intent long before the commission of an act. He is probably listening to me now, even though he may be far away.
Mr. Mayor, why not track him down and all attack at once? Some of us would probably die, but he couldn't strike us all dead at once.
Gentlemen, this humanoid is able to keep track of several hundred things simultaneously. As a matter of fact...
Gentlemen. You are working yourselves up needlessly. You simply do not appreciate what it would mean to dedicate yourselves to the fulfillment of the seventh order destiny. Your lives will be made most pleasant and happy by us.
Yeah, why did you kill 6 cops? If you're so powerful, bring them back to life. How do you want to be buried, Robot? Yeah, let's get them, man.
And eyewitnesses report that in the end, when all were gone, George of Xanthar stood alone on the platform of the gymnasium. There was no movement except the twitching of the dead and those trampled by the crowd. Among the survivors was Professor Ansel Tomlin, who originally...
Well, that's that.
What next?
I don't know, Helen. I don't know.
Oh, well, what's that?
Sounds like an air raid alert.
That's peculiar. They didn't announce it.
Turn on the radio. Hurry.
We interrupt to bring you a special message. All residents of Brentwood are advised to go to their basements or convenient bomb shelters. The governor has announced that units of the National Guard have managed to corner the robot, George of Xanthar, in the town square. Oh. Tanks and mortars will be used in an attempt to destroy the creature. Again, go to your nearest bomb shelter.
Oh, did you hear
They'll never be able to destroy him.
Well, where are you going?
Up to the roof.
The roof?
I can see the square from there.
Well, I'm coming with you.
Just as you like.
What's happening?
He's vaporizing every tank and gun they bring up.
Oh, Ansel, let's get away from here. Oh, what's that?
Those are Army jets. We'll see how effective he is now. Oh, good Lord, a whole squadron up in smoke. It's no use. Can't you see? It's no use.
Ansel, come inside, please.
Oh, very well.
Oh, if only there was something we could do to tell
Not
him.
as long as he can read our every conscious thought before we can act.
What is it?
Our every conscious thought. Our thought. I wonder if...
What is it,
Nothing.
Ansel?
Nothing, Helen.
And the Army reports that the countryside around Brentwood is deathly still. The blue humanoid, George of Xanthar, is still standing in the middle of the town square, where he's been standing for 3 days now. We'll keep you informed of developments. The military urges everyone to keep calm and go about your business as usual. There is no danger to anyone who is not attacking the humanoid.
No danger. Wants to keep more of them from landing. Ansel, are you going to sit there with your head in your hands forever? Well, come have some dinner. Ansel?
Yeah, it might work.
Where are you you going?
Washington.
What?
I'm going to Washington. Would you be good enough to pack my overnight bag? I can catch a plane out of Chicago in about 2 hours.
But why? What for?
I'm going to talk to the Pentagon.
What do you tell them?
I'm going to tell them to surrender to George of Xanthar.
Our microphones are here at the edge of the town square in Brentwood, Illinois today, ladies and gentlemen, to witness the most unusual spectacle of modern history. A discussion of terms whereby the United States of America may surrender to the humanoid George of Xanthar. For the occasion, an honor guard of 22 servicemen from all branches and all parts of the country has been chosen. In just a moment, the honor guard will accompany General of the Army's Walter Pitt, who will discuss the surrender. The honor guard is advancing to the edge of the square. The robot is standing there now, carefully eyeing the soldiers. Every ounce of his concentration seems to be going into it. Actually, we're told his telepathic circuits are probing their minds for some hint of danger. A thought, a flicker of an eyelash may be sufficient for him to vaporize all of them. General Pitt is about to speak.
George of Xanthar,
I hear you, General.
I have been instructed to consult with you about your intentions toward our country and the world in general, with a view to reaching some sort of agreement with you and others of your kind who you say will invade the earth.
May I approach?
One moment. I perceive no intent to harm me. There is one man among your soldiers, however, who has an illogical thought. Will the soldier who is thinking the thought, 11 o'clock, step closer?
Do as he says.
Does 11 o'clock mean anything to you, soldier?
No, sir. It's running through my mind, but it don't mean a thing to me.
My examination of your thoughts tells me you speak the truth. Very well. We will proceed with the talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tense moment. The general and the humanoid are discussing terms. The soldier who was questioned about the thought, 11 o'clock, has stepped back into the ranks and is holding his rifle at attention like the others. I perceive it's now 10:59 a.m. If there is any significance to the thought about which the soldier was questioned, we'll know in 1 minute.
We of Xanthar, gentlemen, would not want to improve a planet which could not be educated and would continually oppose our program. Therefore, I am glad to see your willingness to discuss. After my message goes out, there will be a landing party on Earth within a few days. While waiting for the party, however, there are certain preparations.
Just list them for us.
Your government will naturally have to turn over complete authority to us. Afterward, we will utilize your press and radio to disseminate our instructions to your people. Simultaneously, in other nations, the same procedure will be carried out by our rep.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's happened at exactly 11 a.m. 10 soldiers in the honor guard instantaneously fired their weapons into George of Xanthar. Apparently explosive bullets have blown him to smithereens. The remains are lying scattered all over the square. People are pouring in, kissing each other, shouting.
Helen!
Ansel, you're home.
Yeah.
Oh, you've heard the news. Isn't it wonderful?
Wonderful, really wonderful. I'm sorry I couldn't come home sooner. It would have spoiled my whole plan if I'd gotten within telepathic range.
Your plan?
Yes.
But what? How? What?
Just a matter of simple psychology. Those men in the honor guard.
What about them? Did you know any of them?
Not exactly, but I did have the job of hypnotizing 10 of them.
Hypnotized?
That's right. You see, each of those men was hypnotized And while he was under, we planted a post-hypnotic suggestion, namely, to fire at George of Xanthar when a soldier named Charlie started to cough. Charlie was told to cough at 11 o'clock. Before we released them from hypnosis, we told them to erase everything from their conscious memories. I was staking everything in the hope that George could only tune in on the conscious mind, not the subconscious, and it worked. Yeah, there was nothing to be reached by George's prying mind, so we never knew what was going to happen. At 11 o'clock, the soldier named Charlie coughed. The men raised their guns and fired. And that was the end of George of Xanthar. Now, if you don't mind, I've got some exam papers to mark.
On a planet many millions of miles away, a red light, one of many on a giant control board, suddenly winked out. A blue humanoid made an entry in a large book, System 29578. Planet 3 inhabited. Too dangerous for any kind of development. You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features the Alan Cogan story titled In the Cards. It was one thing to safeguard the future, but something else to see someone you love cry in terror 2 years from now. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Seventh Order, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Jerry Soule and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were James Monks, Nelson Olmsted, Kate Wilkinson, James Rafferty, Dick Hamilton, Reese Taylor, Jim Stevens, Robert Hastings, Wayne Chappelle. The commentator was W.W. Chaplin. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
The Wonderful World of Robert Benchley on Biography and Sound tonight on NBC Radio.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are those of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Shouldn't be long, eh, Cap?
Not unless they move to Italy.
I bet old Benito would like to do that.
We're almost there. See that mountain range just over the horizon?
Well, now, what do you know? I think I might have seen that a few times.
All we do is maintain course and the boot'll pop right up, big as life.
Sounds like you've done this before, Captain.
You like Italian food, Blake?
Me? Yeah, spaghetti's okay. No meatballs, though. They give me heartburn.
Okay, no meatballs. Beautiful day like this, I thought we'd just bomb the supply dump and sit down and have us some lunch before we head back. How's that sound?
You picking up the tab?
Don't worry about it. This one's on Mussolini, his own personal mess hall.
Yeah?
Special orders. I hear the Allies can drop in any time.
Oh, I get it. So we'll quit pounding him, huh?
Plus, he wants to show off what a good cook he is. Watch out for the garlic, though. That's his secret weapon.
Lousy greaser. I got something for him.
There it is. Target in view, Jimenez. How's our time?
On the money, Captain.
Set the bomb bay doors.
Check. Ready to release on your command.
Take her down 400 feet.
Hope they don't have no big guns today.
They don't. That's why we're going to win this war. Another 200 feet. Let's drop these babies right down the smokestack.
Yes, sir.
Is that flak?
I don't believe it.
Give me some altitude.
Looks like the jerks finally got some artillery.
Pull up on the stick.
I'm pulling.
That was too close for comfort. Pull up, I said.
Climbing, Captain.
Higher.
We're hit.
Kransky, you okay?
Waist gun good, Captain.
Connors?
Missed the tail 9 miles.
Fine.
We took a hit on the starboard engine, sir.
Looks like we're losing fuel.
Then let's drop our payload and get out of here. Fast.
Yes, sir.
Mayday, Mayday. This is King 9 calling Firefly. King 9 calling Firefly. Come in, Firefly.
This is the war in Europe, 1943. The air spits out violence and destruction, and the sandy graveyard of North Africa swallows it up. Her name is King 9, a B-25 medium-range bomber, 12th Air Force, USAAF. On this hot, still morning, she took off to bomb the southern tip of Italy, manned by a crew who knew the risks when they signed on. Between them, they have several thousand hours of flight time, much of it in combat. They have followed these coordinates before, armed with a deadly payload for the enemy. A fairly routine run, certainly not her first, but unfortunately, it may be her last. Because this time she's taken a hit that's forced her off course and into a region not listed on any map. She won't return to home base on this day or any other. But as Captain Robert Embry is about to find out, like a resilient human being, she dies hard, especially in the Twilight Zone.
And now, The Twilight Zone and our story, King 9 Will Not Return, starring Adam Baldwin with Stacy Keach as your narrator.
What's the damage, Blake?
We took a hit on the wing tank, Captain.
How bad?
Needle's dropping fast. We're leaking fuel.
How much?
A lot.
Jimenez, what's our position?
10 degrees off course, Captain.
Airspeed's dropping.
Losing altitude.
How far from base?
Too far. We'll never make it.
We may have to ditch.
Down there, oh, mamma mia.
Take a look around. See anything?
Nothing but sand, sand, and more sand. Looks like one great big beach and no ocean.
Then get ready for some belly surfing.
Landing gear?
Leave it up. Won't do any good. The sand's too soft. Connors, Klein, all crew, strap it in. We're gonna attempt an emergency landing.
Flaps down.
Level her out!
She won't hold!
Pull up! Get over that dune!
There goes the other engine.
Hang on!
She's holding. We're gonna belly in like a glider, nice and easy. Piece of cake, Captain, piece of cake!
Watch it! Watch it!
We're coming in too fast!
I can do this, I promise you.
Captain! Look out!
I remember now. More and more, one piece at a time. First the wing tank was hit by flak. Then we lost fuel. Fell behind, veered off course. Not the moment of impact, though. The crash, that's still pretty much a blur. But I remember holding the wheel, trying to hold it. The way she bellied in and then yawed at the last second. That brought the nose down into a dune and all of a sudden it was over. When I couldn't hold her straight, she yawed and skidded through the sand. That must have been the way it happened. It must have been... I honestly don't know how long I was out. It might have been minutes or hours. Hey, guys! Guys! We made it! Hey! Where are you? Where is everybody? We're alive, you hear me? We're still alive! The crew. What about the crew? Did they bail out? Did I order them to bail out? No. No, I didn't. I remember that much. We rode it in together. They stayed with me all the way down. Because I'm the captain. Yeah, that's right. Captain Robert Embry. That's who I am. Blake's my co-pilot. Jimenez the navigator. Kransky, radio op and waist gun. Connors, he was tail gunner. And Klein. Sure. Klein, he was the upper turret gun. Let's see. Who else? Think. Gotta think. It was coming back to me, but I wasn't 100%, not by a long shot. My leg was racked up and my head felt like someone caught me with a left jab and a right hook that put me flat on the canvas. Now I saw the plane about 100 yards away and I knew I had to get back inside to see if the guys were okay. Blake! Jimenez! I kept walking toward it, but it didn't get any closer. That's the way things are in the desert. Something about all that sand and nothing to measure it by. But I kept going. I had to help them if I could. If there was any way, any hope. Are you all right? Connors! I climbed up on the wing and finally got in through the gun turret. I dropped down inside. Blake? Blake, answer me. That's an order. And there was Blake's cap on the co-pilot's seat. I knew it was his, but I turned it over and looked inside anyway. Blake, Gerald S., First Lieutenant, USAAF. And the radio op. His headset still plugged into the radio, but he wasn't there either. Jimenez. And Connors. All gone. If they were still on board when the plane crashed, then where were their bodies? No, I couldn't let myself think that way. Piece it together, that's what I have to do, piece it all together. We bellied in, and I must have been thrown clear of the plane. That's what happened. Sure. Knocked me cold. I could have been out for hours. And the others, they... What about the others? Where are they? They didn't jump. They couldn't have. The chutes are still here, all of them. And they're not dead. They couldn't be dead. There are no bodies. But if they left the plane and started walking, why didn't they take me? Morse code. Yeah, I'm here. We're here. Wait. Give that to me one more time. Mayday, Mayday, this is King 9 calling Firefly. King 9 calling Firefly. Pancaked in the desert, 1 hour 30 minutes from last checkpoint. Bearing 290 degrees, terrain flat and sandy, low hills to the north. No other landmarks, no sign of crew. Mayday, Mayday, King 9 to Firefly. Come in, please. No answer. Nothing in the headphones, not a blasted thing. Easy now. Easy, don't panic. Go back to where this all started, the last thing I remember. I'm sitting in the cockpit. Right here. We're dipping. The ground's coming up to meet us, and we're sitting down hard.
Flaps down.
Level her out. Get over that dune.
She won't hold.
I can do this. I promise you. The crew. The whole crew was in the plane, and now they're gone, all of them. And I'm here with a king-size headache. So what? I got off easy. Nothing to worry about. But the main thing is not to forget. I'm responsible for this crew. I'm in charge. As far as it's within my power, I've got to keep them alive. I've got to keep them out of this. Every last man. I command this aircraft, and I'm responsible. I'm in charge. Nobody else. I'm responsible for all of them. Klein, Jimenez, Connors, Blake, Kransky, every last man. Who's out there? Blake? Is that you? Blake? Blake! No. It's not you, is it? Just a piece of the tail assembly. Well then, where are you, Blake? Guess you wouldn't leave any footprints. Not for long in this wind. What in the... What is this? Klein, William F., Tech Sergeant, USAAF. Klein? Sergeant Klein, you incredibly stupid jerk. You dropped your canteen. You dumb Bronx cowboy, you idiot. You're gonna need water out here. Don't you know that? Don't you know anything? I still got a nursemaid, huh? Is that it? This is some crew I got here. Some crew, all right. Run around dropping canteens full of water. You couldn't find your way off a golf course without a map. And I gotta stick around and wipe your noses and comb your hair and see that you wash behind your ears because you're the worst bunch of survivors I ever... Wait! That's the plane. Somebody's trying to start her up. But who? Hey! Hold up! That's my plane! But who's in the cockpit? Who's in my plane? Is that you, Blake? Blake! I see you! Right there in the pilot's seat. Don't tell me that's not you. Look at me, over here. I'm over here. Blake! 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 Blake, it's Embry. It's me. It's the captain. I'm here. I'm here, Blake. Blake, what's the matter with you? Can't you hear me? Blake! Where are you? Where'd you go? What's the gag, Blake? Hey, come on, fellas. If this is a gag, knock it off. It's not funny anymore. Strictly not funny at all. Why are you guys hiding from me? Don't you get it? I'm only trying to do my job. That was when I knew, really knew, something was very wrong. It was more than the flak and veering off course and the crash and not knowing where I was. Oh, I was in the desert, all right. But where exactly, and where was my crew? If someone was playing mind games with me, the question is, who? And for what reason? Because wherever I was now, I wasn't just in the middle of a desert in North Africa. If I was the only one there after all, then the mind games had to be going on in my own head, and not anybody else's. The big question was, why? The first thing I had to do was pull myself together and find out if I really was alone. And if I was, what the devil had happened to the others. I had to find out, don't you see? Whether I survived or not, I had to know. Gonna be a long night. Get a campfire going, then they'll see where I am. Hey! You out there, guys? Sure you are. You started walking, didn't you? With or without your canteens and your rations. But you won't get very far. You couldn't have. I wasn't out that long. Ooh, watch it, boys. The animals are restless tonight. Whatever kind of animals live in the desert. Blake! Jimenez! Connors! Klein! The whole lot of you! This is your captain speaking. Look over your shoulder. Here I am! I'm waiting! This is King 9. King 9 calling Firefly. Come in, Firefly. Let me tell you something, Firefly, if you're still out there. Now listen up. You better respond before the batteries run out, because I might not be here when you fly over. I might not even be here now. For all I know, I'm already dying out there. Lying in the sand with a fractured skull. This is all going on inside my brain-damaged head. For all I know, this whole thing is one big hallucination. Sure. Think about it. If I see something, or if I only think I see something, how can I tell the difference? How could I be sure? Could you? You ever have a nightmare, Firefly? Huh? Really bad nightmare? Well, you were scared, weren't you? Just the same as if it really happened. Sure you were. Yeah. Your eyes moved around and you were breathing fast and your heart was beating a mile a minute. So what's the difference? I mean, really, what's the answer? The only way you ever found out was when you woke up. This whole time, I could be sleeping, having a dream. Maybe I'll wake up and I'll be back at the base, or I tied one on and I'm in a booth right now with a girl I met in a bar someplace. Oh, wouldn't that tear it? Wouldn't that really, truly tear it? When the medics get a hold of me, they'll never let loose. They'll put me in a straitjacket and send me on tour like a freak. If they ever let me out of the loony bin, that is. But for now, I think I'll just take that chair Jimenez was sitting in and carry it outside and keep the fire burning. Because that's the only thing I can do till wake up. Hallucination, hell. I saw Blake. I saw my co-pilot sitting in that cockpit. That was no hallucination. I saw him. Nobody can tell me any different. Maybe I'm a little woozy, but I'm not that far gone yet. Concentrate. Gotta keep my head clear. Piece it together. I'm Robert Embry, captain. I fly a B-25 bomber. It's called King 9. It crash-landed in the desert. This desert right here. Because I ran out of fuel. Yes, I did. I did that. And now I gotta keep the fire going. So they'll see. And come back. You're responsible for the ship and the men. You, mister. Now you gotta pick up the dice and you gotta throw until you make a pass. That's the hand and you gotta make it. 6 the point. 6 crewmen. They're in your hands. So what do you do first? You build the fire up. The chair will burn a long time soon as it catches. Here's some more newspaper from the base this morning. What's it say on the front page? Can't make it out. Picture of a plane. B-25 Mitchell aircraft found. Just like this one. Whose plane is that? Another one went down. Well, at least they found it. Maybe they'll find this one too. Sure they will. Just gotta wait a while. Embry, Robert, 24 years old. I took pre-flight training at Amarillo, and then I took multiple engine at Randolph, and I went to England. And then to Africa. And now we're based in Tunisia. And we were on a routine mission to southern Italy, and we caught some stray flak where there wasn't supposed to be any. And then we ran out of fuel. And I got the poor devils off. Of course. I did that too. It was my fault. I got that much down, no question about it. It was my fault. But where are they? Where'd they all go? Hey! Hey, fellas! No more hide and seek, okay? Time to come home now. Dinner's ready. Come to Papa. Fellas! Fellas! What's this? A cross? Made out of metal? From the plane. And a flak helmet hanging down. But who? Who put it here? Somebody wrote something. Tech Sergeant William F. Klein died of wounds received in crash April 5th, 1943. Rest in peace, buddy. The crew. Oh, Klein, I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I had no idea. Rest in peace, kid. Rest in peace.
Captain!
Huh. Who goes there? Blake! Is that you, Blake?
Captain.
Connors?
Hello, Captain.
Kransky! It's you, and who's that?
Here, sir.
Jimenez! And the man next to you, what's the matter with his face? Is that blood?
All present and accounted for, sir.
Klein, I don't believe it. You're not dead. Well, neither am I. Neither am I. I'm here, fellas. We're all here. We can do it. Whatever it takes. Come on. Plane's over here. I'll show you. See? It's kind of banged up and the aft fuel tank's definitely shot, but the other engine looks okay. And some of the instrumentation's haywire. Of course, we'll have to get her wheels down. We'll have to raise the ship and get under there. Because we're not going to walk out of here, that's for sure. That's a definite. Can't walk out, so we're going to have to fly. But I'll get her up, boys. You can trust me. I'll get her back up. How does that... Hey! Hey, where'd you go? You hiding behind that sand dune again? What do you want to do that for, huh? Hey, guys. Where are you? Listen to me. We can do it. I can do it. You'll see. All we have to do is get this propeller out of the sand and free it up. Hey, team. You can talk, you know. Talk to me. Yell at me if you want. Tell me off. But say something. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? It doesn't matter. You were never here. You were never here. You're illusions. Mirages. That's all you are. You don't even exist. But there are no mirages at night. Only during the day, when the heat waves come off the sand. So either I'm dead, or out of my mind, or I'm off in limbo someplace. I'm unconscious, I'm sick, that's it. I'm cracked up in an army ward, or I'm down in the drink somewhere, drowning. Or I don't even exist any more than you do. There isn't a thing here, not a single thing that's real. Oh, God. Oh, God, you gotta tell me what's happening here. You gotta tell me. Please. You gotta give me a sign. What? What is that? Aircraft. I can see their lights. Yes! But they're moving too fast. I've never seen planes like that before. I've never even seen jets. I couldn't have, not yet. Jets. Jet aircraft. What do I know about jet aircraft? It's 1943. There's no such thing as jets yet, but I know about them. F-106s, F-105s, B-47s, B-52s, B-58s. I know all about them. I am Captain Robert Embry, United States Army Air Force. I'm the pilot of this bomber right here. We went to Italy this morning because it's World War II, and it's not over yet, and I'm right in the middle of it. Hey, crew! We've got to get out of here! We got to get out of here! We got to get out of here! Because if we stay here, I'll have to dig more graves and bury you all with my bare hands. Don't you worry, I'll take care of it because it's my responsibility. Yes. Yes. And I'll dig one more while I'm at it. One for your captain. One for me, too.
It's your Tribune here. All the news. Latest on the Kennedys. Big changes in Cuba. Mystery plane found in the desert. Read all about it.
I'll take one. 10 cents.
Get your latest news right here.
Paging Dr. Benway. Dr. Benway, please go to ICU. VA Hospital, please hold.
Where's Dr. Martin's office?
3rd floor to your right.
Thank you.
Veterans Administration, how may I direct your call?
Come in.
Dr. Martin.
Yes?
Stephen Markham.
Oh, thanks for coming over on such short notice.
Not a problem. Your patient, Embry, is that his name?
Robert Embry. Age 41. He was admitted a few hours ago.
May I see his chart?
Happened this morning. He went by a newsstand, looked at a paper, and went into shock. When the ambulance got there, he was almost catatonic.
This newspaper?
Yes, that's the one.
And that's what set him off, the front page?
That's why I thought we should have a psychiatrist in on it.
Odd.
I thought so, too. So after he came around and told me the story, I spent the day digging into the fellow's background. I checked with the Pentagon in Washington. It's all confirmed. The information's in the file. He was a captain in the Air Force. Flew a B-25, Africa and Italy. 37 missions. Discharged in August 1943. Recurrent fevers.
Any trouble since?
Nothing. But if you look back at his original record, there is some suggestion of a psychological disturbance early on. He was discharged before they could find out much about it. It was all brought out in a Squadron MO's report just before his discharge.
And this was his plane?
That's the one.
B-25 Mitchell bomber found. World War II bomber found intact in the desert. Lies 17 years in sand. Remains of crew not yet located.
Hard to believe, isn't it? His plane and his crew, the King of Hearts. They took off for Italy on what was supposed to be a routine bombing mission. They'd done it many times before. But Embry never went on that last mission. He reported to sickbay that morning, and someone else flew the plane for him, his co-pilot, Blake. It never returned.
And for 17 years, he's known that and carried it around with him buried deep in his gut.
Not deep enough. When he saw the picture of his plane on the front page, he wasn't able to keep himself from letting out one scream, and then going into shock.
The mind is a very delicate thing. Sometimes there's an infinitely fragile balance. We never know how fragile until something sets it off and tips the balance one way or the other.
Something like this, completely out of left field.
How's he doing?
I was just going to check on him again. Why don't you come along?
Oh, Doctor, I'm glad you're here.
Did he get any rest?
For an hour or so. He still seems agitated and disoriented.
Thank you, nurse. Dr. Markham here would like a word with him.
Of course.
How are you feeling, Mr. Embry?
Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me.
That's what we're here for. To get you back on your feet. That's our job.
Crazy dream. Crazy.
Was it?
I went back.
Where?
The desert.
Take it easy, Mr. Embry. You don't have to go over it again.
Go ahead. You went back, and then what?
Back to the ship. I tried to find the guys. I looked for them, looked all over, I swear. But they were gone. I thought I saw Blake and then the others, but it wasn't real. A mirage. Yeah, a mirage. An illusion, that's all. He wasn't there. None of them were.
It was an illusion, Mr. Embry. You know that now, don't you?
I guess so. I guess so. It seemed so real.
It's over now. All that's behind you.
Is it? I should have been on that plane. I should have gone on that mission. I chickened out.
You didn't chicken out. And you had no way of knowing that the plane would never come back. You'll realize that as time goes on, and you'll feel better for it, Mr. Embry. It's out in the open now. You don't have to keep it buried inside you. That's what's been hurting all these years.
How did you know?
You've been carrying around one gigantic guilt complex for something that wasn't your fault.
Buried. Yeah. Buried. I found Klein's grave. Did I tell you that? He was killed in the crash.
Take it easy.
But then I saw him. And I saw the others, too. I thought I did. I thought I did for a moment. The whole crew. I would have buried them, you know. The last thing I dreamed, I was digging graves for them in the sand so they could be buried just like he was.
You need to get some sleep now. I'll ask the nurse to give you a sedative. As soon as you're ready, you can get back to your life, but there's no hurry about that. What you need right now is rest.
Another crazy thing. Another part of the dream, whatever it was. I was standing in the desert, and I asked for a sign. And I looked up, And there were these planes overhead in the night sky. They were moving fast, and they made streaks, and I could tell by the sound they were jets. Isn't that wild? It was 1943 in the African desert, and up above me were jet planes, F-105s and 106s, just as if I'd gone back there today. Did I? Did I go back? To the plane? Is that possible?
Of course it is. In your mind. That's how you went back, Mr. Embry. In your mind. The greatest time machine of all.
Go to sleep, Captain Embry. You're entitled. You're going to be all right.
Thank you, Doctor.
So, what do you think?
I'd like to talk to him again in a couple of days, start a treatment plan on a regular basis.
I can set that up for you.
But I think the worst part of it's already over. The guilt's out in the open, and he knows what it is.
And the dream?
The delusion? Right now, it's still so fresh, it feels very real to him. In a few days, in a week or two, it'll lose its reality.
You sure?
Nothing's guaranteed, and that's why I want the follow-up. But in a case like this... Actually, I've never seen a case quite like this one. So much information coming back to him in a rush and generating a new set of memories he'd never had before. It's going to be one for the case books. Absolutely fascinating.
He seems like a decent man.
Yes, he does. And that's exactly what got him into this state. His fundamental decency. He has a conscience. If he weren't a good man, he wouldn't be vulnerable.
And would have one less patient.
I'd have a whole lot fewer.
Is that Mr. Embry's room, Doctor?
That's right.
His clothes are in this bag. It was left in the examination room.
You can give it to me, nurse. I'm going back in.
Thank you, Doctor.
What's that?
I really don't know.
Looks like sand.
Yes, it does.
Sand? Now, where in the world did that come from?
I wish I knew.
It was in one of his shoes.
Could be from the seashore, Jones Beach. Or... Where else could it be from?
It could come from a desert.
Really, now?
I read the article in the paper. It said there were no bodies found in the area, not a single one.
Well, the sand would have covered them over.
The sand didn't cover the plane. It was sitting there, perfectly preserved. There would have been something left of the crew, too, their bones at least. Unless...
Unless what?
Unless someone dug graves and buried them. Mr. Embry.
Looks like he finally dozed off.
Good. Good for him. I'll just leave his things. Shirt, trousers, jacket, and shoes. Complete with several ounces of white sand. Where do you suppose it's from?
Maybe a fishing trip he took recently?
Very recently. Or from a plane. From a B-25 called the King of Hearts.
Wherever it's from. Rest easy, Mr. Embry.
You've had a long journey back. Very long. Now you can rest. Meanwhile, I'll leave your shoes by the bed. You'll need them when you're back on your feet, which will be soon. Very soon indeed. Captain Embry. Godspeed.
Portrait of an enigma buried in the sand. A question mark with broken wings that lies in silent grace. A marker in a distant desert shrine. Odd how the real consorts with the shadows. How the present fuses with the past. How could it happen? The question is on file in a barren desert. And the answer? The answer is waiting for us in the Twilight Zone.
Hi, this is Carl Amari, producer of the Twilight Zone radio dramas. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about our official website at twilightzoneradio.com. where you'll get the latest news and information on these Twilight Zone radio dramas. Plus, at twilightzoneradio.com, you can digitally download 3 free episodes or any of our episodes for only $1.95 each. In this age of ever-changing technology, we've decided to make these episodes instantly available to you by making the Twilight Zone radio dramas a digital download-only series. This means that this series will no longer be offered on CD. The CD collections at our website are now being offered while supplies last at buy one, get one free. So be sure to get your favorites before they're sold out. Be sure to visit us often, and I'll see you in the zone.
King 9 Will Not Return, starring Adam Baldwin with Stacy Keach as your narrator, was adapted for radio by Dennis Etchison and based on a script by Rod Serling. Heard in the cast were Rich Kominick, Christian Stolte, Craig Wickman, Doug James, Linda Ryder, Michelle Graff, Paul Patch,